conference, which is the International Conference on Smart Technologies and Applied Research. So today, on behalf of myself and my colleagues, Dr. Abouchabaka and Dr. Rafalia, I will be presenting our paper entitled A Survey of Federated Learning Approach for the Sustainable Development Goal, which is mainly e-learning. First of all, I'll start with the outline of our presentation. So I'll be introducing the topic. Then I'll move to the main objective of the paper. I'll talk about e-learning and sustainability. So how does e-learning help in shaping a sustainable world? Then I'll move to tackling the technology and its relationship with sustainable development. And finally, we'll move to the most recent and successful applications of federated learning to the field of e-learning. Okay, so as we all know, in the year of 2015, the United Nations General Assembly has released the Agenda of 2030 concerning the Sustainable Development Goals. These goals concern all the nations all over the world. So it has brought a newer way of perceiving sustainability, as it requires not only the government's efforts of nations, but the humans' added value, including the involvement of all social and economical factors. The e-learning is one of the illustrations of sustainable development in the world. Okay, in fact, there are many aspects, and e-learning is one of them. So, e-learning serves in achieving many SDGs concerning learning and other aspects like water and energy savings. So, we'll be handling these points during the presentations. And in order to achieve and implement this methodology, which is e-learning, technology has played an important role. In fact, there have been many concepts that were used in e-learning, including artificial intelligence techniques like machine learning, deep learning, in order to build more intelligent and robust systems. So, however, although these methods are modern and new, they have their own shortcomings. And here comes the role of federated learning systems, because they came to overcome the shortcomings of the previous methods, which is ML and deep learning methods. Hence, the main objective of this paper is divided into three main points. First is explaining how e-learning contributes in achieving sustainable development along with its aspects and illustrations, presenting how technology helps in the enhancement and implementation of this sustainable way of learning, and finally digging into one of the latest concepts of AI, which is federated learning, which has been used in many e-learning platforms or systems. So now let's discover how e-learning can help in achieving or shaping a sustainable world. So first of all, let's define e-learning. What is e-learning? So e-learning refers to using computer technology in a learning experience that has led to many changes in the traditional learning, so without having to be physically present in a classroom or educational institutions. This method is considered to be a green option to learn because it is more sustainable compared to the classical methods. So we'll discover why and how. So e-learning helps in shaping a more sustainable world due to many reasons. So first, it helps in the reduction of energy consumption, as learners do not have to be present in a physical classroom. So less energy is consumed for heating and for cooling systems and for electricity. The second point is that e-learning helps in reducing the paper usage and protecting the environment from its waste, because in e-learning systems, learners do not have to use paper, so all the materials, exams, and slides are online. Also, e-learning helps in reducing the emissions of transportation, since learners do not have to physically be present in the educational institutions, so they can connect from anywhere, from home, from wherever they are. Finally, thanks to e-learning, less water is consumed since or when learners are connected from home and anywhere, so they do not have to be present on campus. So water is less used in restaurants, cafes, etc. So now let's discover how technology help in achieving sustainable development. So as to facilitate the achievement of SDGs, many technologies have been used. Federated learning is one of the latest approaches since it has been introduced to overcome the shortcomings of machine learning and deep learning models related mainly to data privacy and security. First, let's define federated learning. So what is FL? So this approach is about building and training machine learning models using a distributed manner in several remote mobile devices. So here data is kept in the devices and models are trained locally and encrypted. Later, they are aggregated and updated in the cloud in a centralized way. Hence, the data is kept secure. Now let's discover the process of federated learning. So it is mainly goes in 5 main steps. So first, there is the initial model that is built in the cloud server. So it trains an initial model. Then we have the model transmission. So the cloud server transmits the initial model to cloud nodes, so which are the devices. The third step is local training, during which each node trains the model locally using its own data. Then the fourth step, which is about updating transmissions. So each node transmits the model update to the cloud server without sharing the data, so only the update. And finally, the global training, which is when the server aggregates the update to train one global model. So here let's discover the main differences between the centralized machine learning versus the federated learning. So we have many differences. So at the level of the training, using classical models, so the training is in the centralized server. However, in the FL, it is on the edge devices. For the model, it is shared in classical learning, and for FL, it is personalized and shared. So the aggregation, there is no aggregation in classical learning. However, for FL model, the aggregation is done in the central server. For the sharing, so in the classical learning, we have the sharing of data sets, which is the main issue, which tackles the security. However, for the FL model, we have the sharing of models parameters only, so the data sets are not shared. On the level of the target, so in the classical learning, the target is to collect the data. For the FL model, we have the distributed learning. And concerning the iterations, so in the classical learning, we have a one-time submission. However, in the FL, we have an iterative process. Okay, so now let's cover the advantages of FL learning. So what did federated learning bring? First, we have the assurance of data privacy. We have the enhancement of the model's accuracy. Then we have decreasing the training time and cost. So hence the FL learning approach is less time and resources consuming and generate less latencies. So we have minimizing the storage of data, and finally we had the fact that it helps in building scalable systems. Now let's cover the classification of federated learning. So in the literature review, we have found that the FL method or approach can be classified on the basis of the data partition. So we have the horizontal, vertical, and the federated transfer learning. It can be divided on the basis of the modeling method. So we have the statistical, decision tree, and neural nets. And we have on the basis of privacy levels, so we have on zero knowledge and differential privacy. On the basis of communication architecture, so we have a centralized and decentralized manner. On the basis of data availability, we have the cross-silo and cross-device, and we have others like aggregation algorithm. So the definitions and details of this concepts are all in the paper. Now let's move to the applications of federated learning on the field of e-learning. So in the literature, we have found that several applications of e-learning were based on the concept of FL. This is because they are helpful and beneficial because they allow the privacy and preservation of data at the level of each educational institution, so without having to share them, and at the same time without having to store them in a centralized server. So as the methodology we have used, so we use the Zotero tool to filter the articles from known databases like Scopus, IEEE, and Springer. Note that the added value of this work is that it provides a recent review of articles tackling FL method on e-learning, since we did not have in the literature a similar review. Okay, so here let's see the main articles that we have found. They cover mainly the predictive analysis, the analysis of pedagogical data. We have the detection of on-screen activity, and so on. So the details is in the paper. Here we have found that the main topics covered in this review, or in the articles featured in the review, they predict the students' performance, they predict the dropout rate. Okay, they analyze the students and teachers' emotions on screen, achieve pedagogical data analysis. Okay, and all the models used to achieve this objective has used the federated learning approach. So thank you for your attention.